It's Tuesday, September 10th, and this is the Daily Medical News, where we bring you the day's top medical headlines and a closer look at today's biggest story. I'm Mary Ellen Schneider.
And I'm Nick Andrews. Today, an oral drug for postpartum depression aces a phase 3 test.
Visceral adiposity may be a powerful predictor of masked hypertension.
And the immune system may be a culprit in the development of hidradenitis suppurativa.
And an international lung cancer group calls for tobacco use screening of all cancer patients.
Plus, the marriage of a pharmacy giant and a health insurer gets very little love from medicine.
A novel oral drug for postpartum depression aced all of its primary and secondary outcomes in a phase 3 trial. The performance of the neuroactive steroid, known for now as SAGE-217, in the Robin study changes the paradigm in the treatment of postpartum depression. That's according to Dr. Eduard Vieta of the University of Barcelona. Dr. Vieta presented the findings at the annual Congress of the European College of Neuropsychopharmacology. The FDA approved intravenous brexanolone in March 2019 as the first ever drug specifically targeting postpartum depression. Both brexanolone and SAGE-217 modify synaptic and extrasynaptic GABA-A receptors. The Robin trial included 151 patients with postpartum depression. Patients on SAGE-217 averaged a nearly 18-point reduction in depression rating scores, compared with a nearly 14-point improvement in placebo patients. SAGE-217's advantage was significant as early as day 3 and continued to day 45. SAGE-217 patients also saw a significant advantage in anxiety score improvements. Treatment-emergent adverse events were similar in the SAGE-217 and placebo arms.
Visceral adiposity, but not BMI or total body fat, significantly correlated with elevated 24-hour ambulatory systolic blood pressure. It was also linked with greater systolic variability and masked hypertension. Those are the primary findings from a study by researchers at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. They presented their findings at the joint scientific sessions of the American Heart Association Council on Hypertension, the AHA Council on Kidney and Cardiovascular Disease, and the American Society of Hypertension. The investigators studied 96 hypertensive adults on a stable dose of one antihypertensive drug for at least 2 months. Then, they correlated the findings with ambulatory blood pressure monitoring. They found a significant linear correlation between visceral fat and mean 24-hour systolic blood pressure. And patients in the highest quartile of visceral fat had a 6.3 greater odds of masked hypertension, normal in the office but high at home, compared with those in the lowest quartile. The investigators say the study findings suggest that central obesity, in particular, should trigger 24-hour ambulatory blood pressure monitoring.
Immune dysregulation is a substantial feature of hidradenitis suppurativa in African American patients. That's according to a small study of 16 patients by researchers at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. The findings appear in the journal Science Translational Medicine. The cause of the painful skin condition remains unknown, but the Johns Hopkins researchers say neutrophils are prominent in affected areas of skin. Those neutrophils form neutrophil extracellular traps, or nets, that activate immune responses and promote inflammation. The investigators found net structures in the lesional skin of African American patients with HS, but those structures weren't in the skin of control patients. and serum from HS patients didn't properly degrade healthy control nets. The researchers also found a significant link between the amount of nets released in HS lesions and the severity of HS. The results indicate that net formation is enhanced in HS and that net degradation mechanisms may be impaired in HS patients. We'll be right back with more medical news after this message.
All cancer patients should be screened for tobacco use and advised about the benefits of tobacco cessation. And evidence-based tobacco cessation help should be given to those who continue using tobacco. Those are the recommendations from the International Association for the Study of Lung Cancer. The recommendations are part of a declaration officially released at the World Conference on Lung Cancer. The group warns that smoking after a cancer diagnosis increases cancer-related and overall mortality. It also ups the risk of developing additional cancers, as well as the risk of treatment toxicity. And continued smoking is linked with higher treatment costs primarily due to complications. The group recommends that cancer management educational programs should include tobacco cessation training.
Physician groups are criticizing a judge's decision to approve the merger of pharmacy chains CVS Health and health insurer Aetna, saying the deal will raise prices and lower quality. A U.S. District Court judge allowed the merger to move forward last week, ruling that the acquisition was legal under antitrust law. The Department of Justice approved the merger in October 2018 on the condition that Aetna sell off its Medicare prescription drug plan business. The judge acknowledged that the merger will have widespread effects for millions of patients, and he noted that many industry stakeholders, consumer groups, and state regulatory bodies have raised concerns about the merger. The American Medical Association is one of those concerned stakeholders. AMA President Dr. Patrice Harris says the judge's decision fails patients and will likely raise prices, lower quality, reduce choice, and stifle innovation. Dr. Harris warns that nothing in the deal guarantees reductions on insurance premiums or on prescription drug costs. And as for promises of efficiency savings, Dr. Harris says that money will likely go straight to CVS's bottom line. The American College of Rheumatology says it's concerned that the merger will hinder progress toward creating cost transparency, and the deal could make it easier for cost savings to remain secret. And that's it for today's Daily Medical News. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or via Amazon Alexa. For MD Edge, I'm Mary Ellen Schneider.
And I'm Nick Andrews. Thanks for listening to the Daily Medical News by MD Edge. We'll see you tomorrow morning.